Welcome to episode 8, actually, the finale for season 1, Blueprint Podcast. Got my friend here, Will. I'm going to dub him multi-millionaire Will, because I need that to come to pass so he can say I was the first person to say it. So we're here to talk about real estate, business, and show me the game. So, Will, introduce yourself.
I'm Will Singleton, Jacksonville, Florida. Been here all my life. Grew up in the city, so know the city very well.
Gotcha.
Married 19 years.
19 whole years.
Yeah, we just celebrated 19 years. Been together 24. Got 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. And worked at Coca-Cola for 20 years.
Man, I ain't know it was 20 years.
Yeah.
That's how we met everybody.
Right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, I worked at Coca-Cola for 20 years as most of them 20 years as a warehouse supervisor. Pastored in this city for 13 years, from 2016 to 2019. Pastored, and then God gave me another assignment in real estate. And I've now become one of the top real estate agents, not only in the city of Jacksonville, but the entire state of Florida. Yeah. And I'm one that believes in different streams of income. Yeah. So I got multiple streams of income in other businesses as well.
What other business? What all do you do? Lay it out on the table.
Man, people joke with me and call me a Jamaican, so I got my hands in some of everything.
Gotcha.
I really do. The Bible says, whatever you find your hands to do, do it. And so I took that scripture and ran with it.
Gotcha.
So man, taxes, tax business I started, notary. I'm a certified personal trainer. I deal in stocks. I've been in the restaurant business before.
Restaurant? Go ahead.
Yeah, credit repair business. Man, I have. It's so many. I be forgetting what I do sometimes. People be calling me. People call me, say, I heard you do this. But I'm just a big believer, man. Them streams of income, and I tell people, I don't care if it's $25 a month that I'm getting off something. That's another stream for me.
Gotcha.
You know, that's lunch or gas.
Out of all of those, what is your, man, you must have named about a good 8 to 10. So out of all of those, what is your top 3? Or what do you consider to be your baby out of all of them?
Right now, real estate. God is just breathing on me with real estate. I mean, I'm getting calls from the north, the south, the east, and the west. So it's just blowing up for me, and it started off 5 years ago. I'll be celebrating 5 years in June. And it's like ever since people found out that I was a real estate agent, it was like, it just was my season for it.
Gotcha.
So with that being said, that's one, probably the top one right now. The trade line and credit repair business is doing real well. That is doing great. And what is my third one? All the rest of them kind of even.
I think I may can answer your third one. You've been in the clothes and shoes for a while.
Oh, yeah.
How that's going? I had to remind them.
Yeah, tailor. Yeah, I do tailor suits. See, I told you I'd be forgetting stuff. I do have my own tailor-made suit company as well as shoe company.
Gotcha. Yeah, them shoes banging.
Yeah.
Them shoes banging.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I ask everybody this. I think it's key to you and for listeners and viewers. You was at Coke how many years?
20 years.
And I was working with you 3 out of them 20. But what happened? I worked at Coke. You know, at that time, you was getting pension,
right,
401k, you know, weeks vacation. It was real laid back. One of them jobs, you just come in.
Right.
You come in, you was gonna make your money. Just come to work. It was that simple.
Right.
So 20 years of that. What happens?
Well, I tell anybody, 10, 20 years of anything, you're going to get tired. I don't care what you're doing, unless you're just called to do that all your life. My vision, I was a young man, my early 20s when I started at Coca-Cola, and I did. You know, we were taught when we, you know, growing up or whatever, you know, find you a good job.
Yep.
Work till you're 62 or whatever, retire from that good job, get your pension, all that.
Yep.
That honestly was my dream at the time. I felt like I had a dream job, and I felt like I was going to be there forever. That Coke was my life. But you grow. And as you grow and you get older and you don't see that in your young age, your vision and your mindset changes.
Definitely.
And probably, I would say about 12 years in, that's kind of when I started seeing things a little different. Because Coke was my life. I don't know back when you were there, but when I first
we're talking about sodas now.
I know, when I was there, I mean, we were 12 to 18 hours a day easy.
Yeah, easy.
It was just that type of demand. And when I saw I wasn't there for my daughter, I couldn't be there for my son, you know, as much because I'm always working and for money, and then just God started dealing with me with entrepreneurship and just seeing the freedom in that, you know, I kind of lost my passion, probably about 12 years in. So those last 8 years at Coke were kind of up and down and miserable for me personally. I wanted to leave probably after the 12th year, but sometimes when you're making decent money, it's taking care of your family. It's kind of hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see your way out. Yeah. And I'm sitting there and I don't have, you know, a college degree. I went 1 year and I'm like, man, where am I going to make $60,000 a year at? You know, at the time, that's just how I was thinking. And so I felt stuck, and feeling stuck, man, probably was the worst feeling in the world for me.
I can vouch for what you were saying, 60, and not to downplay what you said. I remember when I left Coke, went Anheuser-Busch, and started at the bottom, got to the top, and I'm like, man, there's people out there making 80, 90, 100 a year. We're talking hourlies.
Right.
And no college degree.
Right.
But I was this close from taking the what is it called? Engineer course. And when I look at the salaries of the engineers, I'm like, I'm already doing that.
Right.
So why go get a debt? And I'm already doing it. So when you say that, I'm like, I totally understand it. And just like you said, you get not necessarily dependent on it. The best way I can say is it's easy. It's easy routine. And what I mean by that is easy, and you just know the money is going to be here such and such date and time, and it's just going to happen without thinking about it. So I get it. Yeah, work. You say you're 12 years in. What was like the final, you know what, I got to do something different?
Well, what happened is pastoring. I got into pastoring in 2006. And I felt like that was my calling at the time, and Coke was no longer my calling. Well, I had a small church. I mean, they couldn't take care of me and my family. They definitely weren't paying me, you know, what I was making at Coke. And after a couple of years of doing that, I wanted to be the next T.D. Jakes or Pastor Jamal Bryant. So my focus kind of became, it did become with helping people and pastoring the church. And you know, I lost my passion at Coke, and it started reflecting in my work ethic. And so I'll be honest, I kind of started slacking, and you know, that's all I cared about was growing my church at the time. But I was working because I felt like I had to at the time, and wanted to quit many days and just trust God that He was going to take care of me and my family. But it took God forcing me out in order for me to step out on faith and do what he really had called me to do.
Now, when that, if you want to share, cool. If you know, I get it. That forcing you out, what was your thinking when that forcing you out happened? Like your first thought within that first hour?
Well, I was happy. I was free. I felt like I was free, man. And it's like I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
You know, so I had started making preparations years before.
Yeah.
I started saving money. I started putting more in 401k.
Yeah.
Because I just knew one day
Yeah.
that it was going to happen. But when it did happen, I was kind of shocked because I was like, man, they not But when I walked out and got in my car, man, I just threw my hand up and said, thank God. And I left there that night and went straight to my church. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll never forget it. I went to work July 31st. I was supposed to be there. They had put me on the midnight shift. And as soon as I walked in at midnight, my manager was there. So it was like August 1st. It was going into August 1st. And God just told me new beginning. Because I'm big on numbers. This is why I asked you what show this was. So you said number 8. Number 8 means new beginning to me. So it was the same with me at Coca-Cola. Is that I went in and God dealt with me in 7, so it was the 7th month that I went in, and then that 8th month was a new beginning for me. And I had peace. I tell this so my wife don't like me sharing it, but she was scared to death. She was like, man, what are we gonna do? And I promised her, and I told her, I said, we're gonna be all right.
But you know what? I don't know.
I said, we're gonna be all right.
I don't know. I don't know no man that follows God that hasn't had that kind of moment.
Wow.
You think about it. All the great men in the Bible, when God told them to do something, them women, they come with it kicking and screaming. so I get it, you know, even with my wife, you know, when decisions are being made for certain things, listen, my wife, if you don't show her the 5-year plan, if it ain't etched in stone, the who, what, when, where, how, we ain't moving. Me, God said, listen, I jump out the cliff, plane to come, somewhere before I hit the bottom. That's me, so I totally get it. So when that happened, you had already started, you mentally started planning for it.
Yes, I mean, preparation.
In reality, you really didn't plan for it in reality, so to speak. You get what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Well, I mean, I did. I knew it was coming, but I just felt like I needed that safety net. So in my mind, it was like, if I got a year worth of salary, 2 years worth of salary, that give me time, you know, to do something, you know, build this ministry that I'm currently pastoring, or, you know, finding me something else. But at least I got that time to do it in.
So that happens. You already start putting stuff away for new opportunities. How did you start planning for new opportunities from church, real estate, everything else?
Okay. So yeah, right after that, man, I had a year's worth of salary saved up. I took advantage of unemployment. I already had that planned out too. So I had my year worth of salary plus my unemployment. So I had something, and then I was getting a little something from the church. So it was working out, but I did go into the season, and then that was just going to be my focus. I'm the next TD Jakes. I'm about to blow this thing up. I'm about to go hard. I'm about to be up to this church every day. And man, I pressed and worked hard going up there, and I just never could get over that 75 number hump. You know, we would get there, and then it was just trying to build it and dealing with people. It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. Is what I was, and I realized this was my wake up moment. I realized that I did not want to depend on people to take care of me and my family.
Gotcha.
That was the wake up point, because it was people, you know, I go all out for. You know, they'll end up leaving. The devil stay busy. You know, I'm not blaming anyone. I loved everybody at my ministry. And but the devil busy, and people are used by the enemy sometimes. So, you know, they want to leave when they get mad at you. You preach a sermon that's stepping on their toes. You ain't getting no tithe that week or offering. You're looking at and I'm looking. I'm like, man, I cannot sit here and depend on people. You know, to take care of me and my family. So that's when that real entrepreneur spirit started. I said, I need to find something that I can do to take care of me and my family. And so I just started looking into stuff, man, and I started with the simple stuff. You know, I think one of my first things was a notary. You know, it takes a couple of hours to be on the computer and do that. I was like, man, I can make money, you know, doing this. Went to a couple of conferences, notary conferences, people making 6 figures, man, doing notaries. And I was like, well, dog, you know, I can do that. You know, I'm full time. I can go to people's offices, go to people's house during the day and still pastor the church and still make money. So I believe that was my first one. And then I ended up, God had gave me to be a one-stop shop. So being an entrepreneur is basically being there for the needs of others.
So pause right there. So you go from, and I can talk like this with you, you go from being Elijah, stay by the brook, to now opportunities like Ravens bringing the bread, so to speak.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I had to throw that in there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So after, I believe after notary, I got into that, started making a little money with that. God had showed me I wanted to be a one-stop shop, and I'll tell you this, I got that watching Bishop Von McLaughlin of the Potter's House.
Oh yeah.
You know, I just looked at his ministry and seen how his ministry was ran, and I'm like, man, that's how church, you know, is supposed to be. I already
know you're going with it, but go ahead. I get it. Go ahead.
I said, man, this man got bowling alleys, restaurants. I mean, he got entrepreneurs in there with different stops, and it's a one-stop shop. And so that spirit jumped on me, you know, just seeing that too. And kind of that's how I wanted to do the church. That's the vision I was spreading also. Yeah, we can do this. We can have our own housing, you know, for our members. We can have all this different stuff, car lots, car washes. You know, everything just started coming to me, you know, to try to do. And I did a lot of that stuff. We started a car wash. You know, we did the restaurant. We had the little business center for people to come in, do their taxes and all kind of stuff like that. So we was like a real smaller 50 to 75 member church of the Potter's House. But we got a lot done because all our members were pretty great. So it's like I just started from there, man. Anything I found my hands to do, I got into fitness at the time. Took the personal training test, and I just wanted to be a one-stop shop for everybody.
I got
so
you.
when you talking about clothes, shoes, fitness, notary, you can come to Will. You can
let me ask you this: being that one-stop shop, you know, one. In anything, it's hard to find reliable people.
Right.
Second, when you don't have fully reliable people, in that time frame, did you feel yourself getting burned out?
Yeah, you can easily get burnt out. It's only by the grace of God I'm not like that now. Now I work hard. I've always been a grinder. And when my body is shut, I know when it's shut down, I will shut down. And this is kind of when you see me on social media a lot. You know, I'm always trying to go somewhere. You know, my goal is once a month. You know, just to get out the city.
Look here, I ain't gonna lie. What I see, you make it happen. This man, go ahead.
So I believe in taking care of yourself, but getting burnt out, because people ask me all the time, you know, they see me on social media and stuff too, and they man, how do you keep up with all that stuff? How are you doing this, that? And I tell people it's simple. It's called the schedule. So basically, if I got somebody, even now, Tomorrow, if I got somebody want to do a notary at 9 a.m., somebody want me to show them a house at 11 a.m., somebody want me to work them out at 1 a.m. You know, I just put it on the schedule. And this is how I keep up with it.
I tell people all the time, when you got a lot going on up here, it's easier to put it on the paper or now your iPhone or whatever and let the paper or the phone deal with it. At least you got it out of your head.
Yeah.
Because when you wrestling in here, you're gonna burn out. If you burn out here first, everything else gonna fail.
Right.
So you got to get it out of here, give it to the paper, give it to the phone, the tablet, and let that deal with that.
That's right.
All you doing is okay, okay, this is what I got to do. So doing them burnout stages, like, because you do have a lot going on. How do you may have answered this question, but I'm still going to ask it. How do you refresh yourself, re-energize yourself after, handling all that?
Man, it's something about being in something and then getting out. You got to get out of it in order to be refreshed. So I tell people all the time, a lot of my trips are right down the road to Orlando. And I tell people, some people say, why you go to Orlando so much? It seems like if I'm driving down there, once I get out of Jacksonville, it's like a weight lifts off me, man. It's like all that pressure, it just goes away. And
I understand.
just being around the lights, a real nice hotel, pool, shopping, doing something for me from the hard work, it becomes refreshing. And a couple of days of that, man, I'm good after that. And like I said, I'm learning to delegate more. If I do get too much. Yeah. But a lot of times I was bad even as a pastor of always want, because I know it's going to get done right. Yeah. So I would always be in it, and good counselors would always tell us, Pastor, you got to let us do some stuff. They wanted to do some stuff too. So so it's still kind of hard for me sometimes, but I will if I'm over, burnt out or just feel tired, I'll call somebody, hey, can you show houses for me today?
Gotcha.
Something like that. So.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this. In that season of stability, guaranteed to basically a wilderness, not a miserable wilderness, but been waiting on you wilderness. Why was that transition and everything you want to do with that so important versus didn't have to worry about nothing on this side? Why was that so important?
I want to understand your question a little more.
Your passion,
my passion,
and what you went into after Coca-Cola. Why was this part of your life important? Like, what made it important for you? Hey, I got to make something happen.
Oh, okay.
Versus, you know what? Let me tighten myself up and stay here.
Right. Having control of my time was very important. Once again, my family, just making sure, I grew up in the hood, just making sure I had them in the best possible situations as far as living conditions and different things like that. And just the promises, every year, man, I would challenge my church to read the Bible in 90 days. Most of them wouldn't do it. It probably were 2 or 3 people that ended up completing it. But during my 13 years of pastoring, we went through 3 different name changes and reinventing myself. When I first started in 2006, it was called Be the Light Ministries. Be the Light Ministries, it was just about being the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. So just being the light. But what really changed my life was in 2010 when we changed the name to Another Level Empowerment Center. And our foundational scripture from that was Deuteronomy 1:6, where it should have took them 11 days. Yeah, 11-day journey. 11-day journey turned into 40 years. Yeah. And I'm like, how in the world he messed that up? You know, God, God, you could have had your breakthrough in less than 2 weeks. It was just so powerful to me, and it really changed my life. Your breakthrough was in 11 days. And so many people miss their breakthrough, bro, because simply of disobedience, you know, just doing people, they hated on leadership, they wouldn't follow directions and different, and I learned a lot from that story.
11 days and 40 years is symbolic within itself, because you got to look at it from a different angle. Look at it on both sides, and collectively, you got a bunch of angry people stuck in a mindset, stuck in a way of life, Coca-Cola, previous job, and then trying to get you here. And basically, same way like your situation, they got forced out. I mean, things had to happen, but eventually they got forced out.
They sure did. Pharaoh say, go on. Y'all go on about your business. Get up out of here.
And nobody, you know, that's hard when you come. You was just an individual. You talking probably thousands of people, man. You got all them different mindsets, all them different ways of life, ways of thinking, upbringing, mentalities, emotions. That's a lot to deal with. And but the crazy part about it, on the flip side, what could have happened to you, but it didn't, your ideas and your outlook on opportunities could have been them thousands of people wrestling with each other. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yours took, I'm just gonna say symbolically, 11 days, where some people out here is still taking them 40 years.
That's right. Yeah, going in circles.
So
coming back to the same spot. That's good. You gave me a revelation on.
Hey man, I did do my first sermon, got my lesson. That's another conversation. That's another conversation. But so I know you said your wife was, how can I say this, really bothered by that. How did you How did you have that conversation with her? What was that like them first 90 days or whatever?
I just told her, man, I said, we're gonna be all right. You know, I ain't tell I had a year's salary saved up. I just made her feel confident. I got it. We gonna be all right. And we never had a conversation about it after that, because we did end up being all right. You know? That is a fact. That is a fact. Yeah, we're in a much better place. That was the best thing could have happened to me. You know what?
Let me ask you this, if you care to share.
Okay.
60 grand a year, what you thought was your purpose one time. Now, outside of that, talk to me about that first year of being out of 60 grand versus now being out of 60 grand. Talk to me about that.
Okay. So money did get a little funny after a while. And I tell entrepreneurs, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I wish I would have had that $2,000 coming to me within that 2 weeks. So never went broke, but having those gaps of not having a paycheck like I was at Coke. And it was after that first year I depleted a lot of that savings, because I mean I had more free time on my hand too. So I'm out there on lunch, and then like I eat now, you know, it's just been, you know, hanging out with pastors and doing stuff like that. So at one time, I did consider going back into the workforce after that first or second year, because not that we didn't have money, but I like money. Go ahead. I like money. I'm not one of those ones that talk against money or people that have money. I like money.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Things.
I'm not in love with money. Like yourself, I do like it. It's the exchange for what I want. So I'm not in love with it. I don't worship it, but yes, I like it. I like to have it. So I get it. I get it. I get it.
So I like nice clothes. I like nice cars.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And just like,
I don't let nobody make me feel guilty about it.
Just like you said,
that's mindset. Going back to mindset.
Just like you said, where you come from, how you grow. Listen, I'm from Georgia. I grew up in the ghetto. Yeah. I remember washing my clothes in the tub, drying my clothes in the oven.
Right.
I remember sleeping back to back with my mother in the wintertime to stay warm. So, I mean, you name it, drugs. I promise you name it. I lived in it. I seen it. So I get it.
Right.
And I tell people now, you know, how I started and where I'm at now, there's no bridge between the two. If I could take you back, you would look at me now and say, this don't make sense. From living in foster care from 10 till I was 20 when I moved here, mother being murdered, didn't know my biological father till I was a grown man. Right. Home to home, you name it. So I get it too. I hear you high class. I hear you spoiled. But the one thing nobody ever talks about, nobody gave me this.
Exactly.
I went after this.
Right.
So
yeah. And so it do kill me when people say, boy, you got so much favor on your life. Well, this favor came with a whole bunch of hard work.
I believe,
a lot of sleepless nights, you know, a lot of prayer, a lot of connecting to the right, a lot of putting money out to get educated, you know, on a lot of stuff. So, you know, don't come to me like God just giving me all this stuff. No, I'm like you say, I'm working for it.
Man, faith without works, man. You got to put something out there.
Yeah.
And you know, just like I said, every dude, I promise you, I sit down and I think about it now. I'll be 41 tomorrow, and God honest truth, I swear, man, everything that I wrote down on paper, thought about, even joked with God about, let me lay it out for you. I told God a long time ago, I said, listen, God, I don't want to be a dope boy. I come from that, seeing that all my life. I want to make it. I don't want to be cutthroat and survive off of other people's backs. I want to make it for me. Jokingly, I said, God, listen, here it is. Laid it out, plain and simple. Here it is. Listen, I want a big crib. Matter of fact, I want a 5-bedroom house. I want my, you know, nice wife, beautiful, yada, yada, yada. I said, matter of fact, God, throw in 2 old school Chevys. Joking. But serious.
Yeah.
Let me see if he'll do it. Dude, everything I asked for, I got.
Amen.
And I'm with you. If I'm going to the restaurant, I heard an interview years ago. If I'm going to the restaurant, give me the best thing you got.
Yeah.
Give me the best thing you got. If steak and lobster the best thing you got, hand it here.
That's right.
Now go get a suit. No. What's new?
Right.
What's popping?
Right.
So I get it, and it's not a attitude of I got to outshine or be better than somebody. But I'm like, listen, man. On this side of heaven, I want the best till the best get here. So I get it. I get it.
Heaven on earth.
Hey, why not?
Exactly.
Bro, why not?
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Transitioning, job, passion. What were your biggest influences at that time?
I mean, I do have a lot of people that have influenced me. I ain't gonna say a lot, but anybody, I mean, Jay-Z, man, Damon Johns, just seeing what them, but I used to love Damon Johns, and I mean, still do. I mean, Jakes, Pastor Jamal Bryant, one of my favorite preachers. You know, give a shout out to my pastor, Bishop Virgil Jones. You know, he kind of taught, well, he ain't kind of, you know, he taught me how to live.
Gotcha.
A lot of my blessings, I know, come from my obedience to God and trying to live my best life and staying away from sin. And he instilled that in me. Even though I always considered myself a good guy, but just the consequences of sin, you know, he woke me up to. And I mean, Bishop Von McLaughlin, you know, a lot of pastors, Bishop Lewis Williams, T.D. Jakes. Them some of my favorites by stars in spiritual leadership.
Do you feel by you watching them, talking, following, whatever, has rubbed off on you?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's a little bit of all of them in me.
Top three.
Right
Top
now.
3 things that rubbed off off the top of your head.
All of them hard workers. Just the discipline that I've seen. The goal to see them help people and not just themselves. My heart is to help people, you know, in any way that I can. The third one, you know, all of them. Most of the people that I've named have got strong marriages and have been with their wives, you know, 30, 40 years. You know, that meant a lot to me, you know, seeing that. And just the focus and they have through trials and tribulations of their own to stay focused
Gotcha.
At what they do on a daily basis.
So let me ask you this. Now that, and correct me if I'm wrong, from what I see, because I ain't sat down and had a meal with you, but I just know you from way back and I see you. I see you now. So now that you, and if you want to change the number, let me know. Now that you about a strong 85% of what you originally started off to achieve or do or have, what's it like being in that position now versus the original start of this?
Man, it first of all, I mean, it feels great, you know, to be in this position. And just like you said, you know, you writing that stuff down and seeing that stuff come to pass, you know, that's real. That's biblical, right?
Yeah, yeah. Make it plain.
Make it plain. You know, I did the same thing, and everything that's on that page, I mean, it happens. My two brokers here, you know, they're my heroes as well. I mean, they've been a blessing since I've gotten into real estate. But one time I told this story, and you know, we're just sitting around year to year. One of my brokers meet with me, and you know, we go over vision and goals for the next year. Accountability. Yeah. And so he sits down with me, try to put an accountability plan. And about 2 or 3 years ago, we had a table just like this. I say, I don't need this. And he says, no, you need it. I said, no, I don't need it. And he was saying, why? You know, why not? I said, because I'm just that type of person, man, that's gonna do my best every day. Yeah. And go all out every day. Yeah. And whatever happens, and I'm gonna be fine with that because I know that I did my best. Gotcha. And it's for the whole year. Now, if I'm sitting down here with you and saying that my goal is $300,000 a year in real estate this year, and then I come up with $175,000, that's just going to kill my spirit. That I didn't meet that goal. But I can have peace with myself knowing that I got up every day and did the will of God, tried to help people, and whatever happens, happens.
Oh, with that being said, let me ask you this question. Is a missed goal a missed opportunity, or is just not the work put in, since you just said that?
I think sometimes, when you asked me that question, this is what came up. Yeah. When I became a pastor, I went around and visited a lot of churches that were growing pretty fast. I spent money. I didn't have that much money at the time, but I spent money to fly up to New York to a guy who I met at a E. Dewey Smith conference. All right. I spent a couple $1,000, hotel, flights, rental cars, all that. I get up there to go to his church just to interview him, see what happened. And what he shared just messed me up. I mean, I'm thinking I got all these questions I'm about to ask him. And I said, man, what was the thing that made your church just start exploding, like you said at E. Dewey Smith? And he said, it was timing. He said it was just time. And he said, sometimes it's just the timing of God. It's nothing that you did or didn't do. It's just not the season for it to hit. So when you ask me that question about goals and probably missed opportunities, it can be both. It just depends on the person's situation. Maybe they didn't do what they needed to do in order to hit that goal. And then sometimes it's just as simple as timing.
I tell everybody, and I learned this just in my own life, time is no man's friend. And the reason why I say time is no man's friend is because time is always consistent. It does what it's supposed to do. Human beings, we don't. However, I have also discovered, figured out, learned, watched, observed, that if you arrive ahead of time, and I don't mean that literally, I mean that mentally, you knew at some point I'm gonna be out of Coca-Cola.
Right.
So you did time before time happened. You started prepping for that, right?
Right.
That's what I mean by that. And look how that helped you in the long run.
Right.
A lot of people, they're not trying to be ahead of time. They're trying to catch up with time.
Right.
You trying to catch up with time, you're going to be behind time, and time going to tee you off,
That's
plain
right.
and simple.
Right.
So that's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Time ain't your friend.
Right.
If you be ahead of it, it can be your best ally. You get behind it, it can be your worst enemy.
Right.
Plain and simple.
That's true.
So I get it.
Right.
Along the way, what do you feel? What do you feel was your biggest failure in your many ventures?
Probably honestly the personal trainer thing. Man, I probably did that a hot 6 months and really but I wasn't even taking care of myself. I mean,
hey, everybody look at that. Everybody looks at that.
I wasn't even eating right and doing the things. I didn't have the discipline for it.
Gotcha.
To be honest. And
listen, shout out to all personal trainers, because one thing I have learned, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it is.
You see any real personal trainer, man, this it's not a 3 days a week thing to them. It's 7 days a week, 24 hours to them.
It is.
So that's another podcast. But you said that was your biggest failure, because you didn't have the lifestyle or discipline, you say?
Yeah.
Got you. Yeah. So what was your greatest strengths in real estate?
Hospitality, customer service. Now, there's a lot of good that came out of Coca-Cola because I was the night shift supervisor, and I was always the one that had to get them trucks out in a timely manner. So this was every night.
Yeah.
I had to get up there and go to battle.
Yeah.
Every day when I walked through them doors.
Oh, you ain't gotta tell me. I know about Coca-Cola. Yeah.
We got 50 trucks to get out by 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I had to stay on them guys. Even had to help sometimes. So I brought that discipline into real estate and basically getting the job done. And so just going all out for my customers, man, to get the job done. Just all the emails that I had to send over the last 20 years at Coca-Cola, just dealing with stuff like that, kind of made it easy. And then I tell anybody, I'll thrive in any customer service type industry. I mean, I'll be a $500 a day waiter at Roof Chris if they was to hire me, because I just believe my customer service is like that. Red Lobster.
You said something too about Coca-Cola. You took some of those principles from there to over here. So I try not to laugh even as I say this. So you almost like NFL. You came to the Jaguars to get your practice.
Right.
Now you win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I believe, just like David, anybody in the Bible, man, you know, he was back there fighting bears and all that before he became king. So all of us have to go through our path of something that's preparing us for something greater. So you kind of just got to look back over your life to see where God done brought you from Georgia in the ghetto to where you at now. It was always his plan.
And just like David, well, let me say, just like not like David, you got to stay in your lane. You can't be looking over the balcony,
right?
looking at everything else.
Yeah.
Because
it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
It was definitely a bad mistake.
Yeah, mistake.
But a lot of us do that. I'm using that symbolically, but a lot of us do that now. We looking over the balcony at something that ain't even ours.
That's right.
And then we putting our future out there on the front line to be killed.
Yeah.
Not realizing that's my future.
Right.
I'm killing.
Yeah.
So.
And it did. It messed him up. That one mistake, you know, he went through a lot of pain and suffering. And sometimes we can avoid all that.
Oh, definitely. Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Right.
So how did you, I know you said in ministry, real estate, how did you continuously focus on your lane? Because it's probably what? Maybe 20,000, 30, if not more, real estate agents in Jacksonville, as well as brokerage. So how did you stay in your lane consistently with all that in the field out here? With
ministry and, you know, dealing with
real estate.
Oh, real estate?
Yeah.
Well, right now in Georgia, it's around 30,000 realtors. In Jacksonville, I believe it's climbing up to the 12,000 range.
Okay.
When I became a real estate agent 5 years ago, it was like 6,000. So
wow.
Yeah. So,
wow.
So yeah, it's growing. It's growing. And just what you just said about David, you know, you can't worry about that, because I mean, what God got for you, you know, he got for you.
That's a fact.
And I tell, even when I mentor people and do my mentorship Mondays, I tell them, you know, it's enough money out here for everybody.
Definitely.
So you can't worry about the competition, because really, everybody is not going to do good in this anyway, because you got so many people that look at the pictures on Facebook with Chloe, and they get into it because of what they saw, but it's really not their passion. They really don't have a heart to help people. You know, they're in it for the money, and they're not going to be successful that way.
Your greatest ROI, return on investment, is always your people. People are always on the next level.
Right.
90% of what God's going to do in your life is through people. You can't do people well, you ain't going to never succeed, man.
That's right.
So
That's right.
The key, that key thing is people. I can't say that enough. I don't care if food industry, real estate, insurance, DJ, you name it. If you cannot do people, you'll forever be poor.
Right. That is true.
You will be poor.
That is true.
You cannot.
I share that with them too. I say sometimes a lot of people ain't successful because you're not good at people. I mean, you go to work, you don't speak to nobody, and you expect them to buy a house from you. I'm just being real. You done told everybody in the past to kiss your behind. You done cussed everybody out. You done put on social media, I don't need nobody but Jesus. I don't need y'all. And like, you need people. You need more than Jesus. You need people Jesus allowed to be here.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
first year in real estate. How many houses do you think you sold your first year?
Well, I already know that. I started in June of 2016, and I sold a house a month.
That's good.
So
That's
I
still
did
good.
6. Yeah.
That's still good.
Yeah. My first full year in real estate in 2017, I had did 18 houses and made $70,000, and then. So that was pretty good. And
wife was smiling.
Yeah. And then after that, man, it was on. I've been a 6-figure real estate agent.
Wow.
6+ figure real estate agent ever since. Yeah.
Wow. How did that bless your family, man?
Oh, real good. real good.
How does your wife feel now compared to when this first started?
Oh, I mean, yeah, she feels great. You know, she just got her license as well, so thank God for that. And she's, you know, just pretty much getting started in it. So she
got a great mentor.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
you gonna make sure she bring home the change.
Yeah.
You gonna make sure of that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what was one thing you didn't know that you wish you had known in the beginning of this process?
I really can't say that I wished I would have known something, because
Or
what people don't know is that honestly, when I got into real estate, I was still a pastor and still had dreams of being a big pastor. So I honestly just got in this for an extra stream of income. You know, I heard a message on TD Jakes, you know, about having the different streams. I don't know if you ever heard that message. It was a powerful message. You can look it up on YouTube. And when he put Adam and Eve in the garden, and he put the different streams around the garden, that was different streams to feed them. So that's what I got into it.
economics all in the Bible. Go ahead.
I know, right? So and he talked about 7 different streams of income. So that immediately struck my spirit, and I said, man, I'm gonna get 7
I'm gonna
streams.
go find
And
that.
that's where the notary came in, the tax business, you know, the credit repair, I mean, that's where all that stuff started coming, you know, with the different streams. And with real estate, it was the same thing. You know, I have some members come, I sell 3-4 houses a year, get me an extra $20,000-$30,000 a year on top of what I'm doing. But man, when people found out, I mean, God showed me different, man, that no, this is where you're supposed to be in this season, and He just breathed on it. And so, you know, so there wasn't no high expectation that has let me down and say, man, I wish I would have known this. You know, I didn't have that kind of thought. So.
Stumbled into a different blessing, pretty much, man.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's funny, because that's how some things just happen, man. And like you said, Buddy was saying, New York, right? That timing,
The time.
God's timing is definitely not your own.
Right.
There's nothing to prepare you for that other than Him.
Right.
You be thinking, you know, you prepping for something, and something hit you left field that wasn't even in your view.
Right.
Just like this right here. And truth be told, just like you said, were you really prepared for that? You was prepared for something, but not necessarily this lane.
Right.
And this lane that you wouldn't even think about, it was acute, now it's obtuse. The one thing you just kind of looked at like this, like, man, let me try this. Now it has consumed your harvest.
Yeah.
So, oh man, that is deep.
Yeah. And going back to timing, I seen this broker, and I don't know how much time we got.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
And he was trying to recruit me, because he had heard about me, and he was trying to recruit me. And I seen him in Lowe's, and he said, "Man, you're doing good for only being a couple of years, you know, in it and stuff like that." And I was like, "Yeah, man." I said, "I probably should have been got in this. You know, I spent 20 years at Coca-Cola and should have been." He said, "You wouldn't have did this good back then." He said, "If you would have started 20 years ago," he said, and he talked about the timing.
Wow, confirmation again.
Yes.
Wow.
Timing,
What was your biggest resource in real estate?
biggest resource?
Yeah.
Like what, money?
Men.
I'm trying to
Like, what were you? Okay, ministry. You was watching TD Jakes, Jamal Bryant, a couple of other people. Real estate. Who were, or what were you following to say, you know what, I can take the way they're doing this and add it to me?
I didn't.
Nobody.
And that's the miracle part about it too. And you know, even how I'm doing now, this is God. It's God, because it's like I didn't have a mentor like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna relay that to something. I'm gonna relay that to something. Go ahead.
I didn't have a blueprint, and it was something I was about to say, and I lost.
We getting old.
But I know, right? But it'll come back to me. But I really didn't have anybody. I had a hard work ethic and the favor of God with people to share my. Oh, I know what I was about to say. It blows people's mind that I don't pay for leads. A lot of big time agents, you know, they pay for Zillow leads, Realtor.com, and all that. And all my leads have just came through word of mouth. You know,
that's the best business.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say and relate that to, is like somebody who's never been fathered now got to be a father. So you was unfather in this situation,
Right.
but you're a father for many who trying to take the same path.
Yeah.
So
wow. Wow.
that's deep. What is a myth that you would like to chop up, X out in real estate that people?
Okay, I got.
Go ahead. You ready for this?
The myth is that you're gonna make $1 million in real estate. Now, I thought that too. You know, when I took the class, the teacher said, "You guys think y'all gonna take a 63-hour class?" And he said, "How long does a doctor go to school?" Somebody said 8 to 10 years. How long does a lawyer go to school? 8 to 10 years. So y'all think y'all gonna take a 63-hour class and make more than a doctor and a lawyer and some of these other engineering, whatever it is. You think you're gonna do that? And it opened up my eyes, and I'm like, wow. So one of the myths is that, like I say, people think they can become a millionaire, you know, 6 figures. They got to know on the 1% of people in America that's in real estate make 6 figures or more in real estate
1%.
As a realtor.
Yeah.
Now you do got the flippers, the wholesalers that can make good commissions. You know, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a sale. That can get in those cities. But far as realtors, no, it's tough. It's tough to do that. So
got to put your time in, huh?
Yeah.
Time and right relationships.
Right.
And that old ram in the bush called God's timing.
Yeah, the average full-time realtor makes around $36,000 to $48,000 a year.
Wow. Let me ask you this: is there a fine line between hustle and passion? If so, what do you think? What do you think the difference between the two?
The difference between hustle and passion. Hustle is your day-to-day grind and effort of trying to accomplish daily, weekly, monthly, yearly goals. Your passion is being in something that you absolutely love to do. I mean, they say if you find your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. So I'm at that point in my life to where I don't do stuff just for money. I have people inboxing me all the time, you know, saying, "Man, you do a lot of businesses. I got this business opportunity. You want to come to this meeting?" Different things like that. And I'm like, no, if I don't have a passion for it, I'm not doing it.
That's
you know,
key.
God woke me up with that, man. That the Bible says your gift will make room for you.
Definitely.
So whatever your gift is, your passion, I mean, that's the area I believe you should be in.
Got you. Man, you almost made me lose my train of thought now. That passion is definitely important. And man, don't mess around to get passion and freedom. Like what you talking about. I remember when I first moved here in 2000, I was chasing $1. Man, I can't wait to make $8. Man, I can't wait to make 10. Then it was, man, I can't wait to make 12. Can't wait to make 15. Then that came. Can't wait to make 18. Got the Coca-Cola, made 18. Man, I wonder what it feel like to make 20.
Right.
Got the 20. Man, I wonder what it feel like to make 20 plus. Got the 20 plus. And I'm like, the old saying, they call the 20s the roaring 20s. I was in the roaring 20s, finding my way. Then I got to cooling down 30s, and I'm just like, okay, still got the hustle going. Dude, I turned 40. I'm in cruise control at a mid-level altitude now. And I'm like, I was chasing all the money and to get the dollar. I'm like, man, look at all the time I done gave though. Now I'm like, man, I want the freedom now.
Yeah.
I want the freedom.
Right.
I want the freedom, half the labor, double and triple the money.
Ain't nothing like it.
Will.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
What you mean.
I ain't gonna lie. I want stupid money. I want money that don't make sense.
Yeah. Me
That's
too.
the best kind.
Me too. It is.
That's the best kind. Wake up and think and boom, collect.
Yeah.
I ain't sweat.
Right.
I may have moved some blood from this vein to the top of here, but that's the most labor I've done.
Man. And that's the perfect mindset. And I almost posted on Facebook last night, you know, the story in Genesis, and God came out and said, "Who told you you were naked?" And I'm still gonna post it, but it's like, who told us we got to slave for money, you know, and work all these hours?
Mm-hmm.
You know, who told us we couldn't think, you know, big in a certain tight way?
Mr. Wonderful, I forget his name, Kevin something from Shark Tank.
I love Shark Tank.
That dude said something. He said that job will give you just enough to buy you away from your dream.
That's it. Wow.
You done sold him.
I like it.
Yeah, they gave you a couple of dollars to sell your dream away.
Yeah.
Help me build mine.
Yeah. And I do, man. I believe. I look back and say, man, I can't believe I let somebody work me for $6 an hour back in the day at Winn-Dixie. You know,
man, I remember
my time
it's
was
valuable.
worth $6.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to work pushing them carts and do that. And I thank God for all my jobs, but it just make me think, even if you're making $15, $20, $30 an hour, is that really, you know, worth your time?
Gotcha.
To get up every day and do that. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
My last question to you.
Okay.
What would multi-million-dollar Will now tell Dollar and the Dream Will back in the day?
Man, start being an entrepreneur coming out of high school. I was talking to a friend of mine today, another realtor. He said he got in trouble for making a post about you don't need to go to college to make money. Because a lot of people talking about, you know, sometimes trades, you know, if you get a good trade or something like that, you don't have. And he said somebody got mad at him, and I told him it just came out. And I was like, a good mentor can save you from going to college.
You need to post that. You need to post that.
A good mentor can save you from having and getting in. Most things stop people from getting houses and them student debts. Man, I look at some of them people, $100,000 student loan, $200,000, and I mean, and they come out with $30,000 jobs.
I got a problem with that. That's another conversation. I got
So, and I told him, I said, man, wasn't nothing wrong with your post. A good mentor can save you from going to college, and that's what I would share with people.
That's a book, man.
You don't, you know, you don't telling people you had to go to college and go for it and get a job. Them days over with. You know, you can become a merchant seaman, make six figures. You get somebody to show you the credit repair business. You know, you can make more than somebody. So it's so much you can do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
The traditional work hard, save your money, get an education. It ain't working for everybody.
Right.
It ain't working for everybody.
That's
right. Entrepreneurship ain't working for everybody.
Right.
But you gotta go up there.
Yeah.
Find where you're supposed to be and work it, man.
That's right.
Plain and simple.
That's right.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, bro.
I had to get you before I had to pay for you.